let's set up a camera and observe this shit. So when they set up the camera and observed it, they expected to see why these electrons make a wave pattern. Why? This camera, right? Why do these electrons make a wave pattern, right? And once they turned the camera on, the electrons did a funny thing. They acted like particles. Again. They said, what? So each time they tried different things, they still would get this particle pattern. In other words, the wave pattern disappeared once they were watching this. So they said, wait a minute. Could it be it's acting like particles or matter when we observe this? Well, let's set up all the cameras and not turn them on. They did that, and it went back to wave particles. So after everything they could do, they determined, which is actually a breakthrough. They're not telling you these are breakthroughs. They're telling you these are theories and we're still fucking with it, but no. They're getting their answers. And I'm going to tell you why they get their answers. You're going to see it now. Because we've been had these answers. And I'm going to show you the comparisons of all that shit they doing and what we've been doing. Because we know. But you niggas forgot. You're going to remember now, today, in this video. Which will not be 5 hours. Because I don't want you to have any excuse not to watch this shit here. So, they concluded that our observation turns waves into particles or matter. So just by us observing, we now change all that is quantum waves into physical particles. Just by looking at it. So they're saying pretty much when I'm not at the store or outside, just in my house, I'm not observing it. It is all waves until the very moment I look at it. Then it turns to particles immediately by just observing it. By just observing it. Now, there's another thing that does this. Let's take the world of Grand Theft Auto. If anyone who's played this, is a detailed game of a world or really a city that the individual player is in. Detailed. You can drive on the highway in that, and it is so long, so detailed with stores and specific, not just Fred Flintstone cartoon, just the same thing over and over. Individual trees. You could just randomly turn to the right and be in a whole motherfucker on somebody's ranch with details. Cars and cows, and then you could come back on and go back to the city. Detail, if you never played it. Too much detail to write. And mind you, I want you to keep this in mind. They say some of that program writes itself. Programs that write programs. So, if you go on Street A and you observe it in the game, you see all this detail. You see people moving, shaking, talking to each other. You see cars going places. In fact, you steal cars. You can steal any one of them. You can manage to get next to and pull a gun out on. Anything parked, you can get in. You know, they're going about their business. Now, for the reality or the programmers, the people who created, they said, this is so much detail. This detail can't be happening while we're on Street A. We have to shut down Street B. So Street B just becomes the raw data that is the game programming itself. Until the gamer turns to Street B and observes it, then it becomes the great detail of the game that you know. So to save, long story short, to save space and time, and just how programs become efficient in the game. If you're not observing it, then it doesn't exist. In your mind, you think you can go left and right because as soon as you do, boom, it exists. The same way as soon as I open my door, everything outside exists. But the reality, just like Grand Theft Auto, our programming is the same way. The waves are the raw data. When they told you they can't figure out string theory, them waves are the strings. The string theory is this idea that strings connect everything. That's waves. So they found it. They tell you, oh, it's a theory, we can't figure out how to do it. Because once they figure it out, then the next thing they would have to tell you, we got the whole thing. And we can change it and do what we want with it. And they are. Ooh, we're going to get to this today. And we're going to find out what you need to do. So, really, they found it. What connects everything? These waves. Then they started talking about something called quantum entanglement, meaning two atoms have a connection. And that connection will connect through space and time instantly. So if there's a change here, through space and time, that change happens immediately.
As above, so below.
That means everything's connected. What they call atoms are actually what we used to call our thought. How we can think that transcends time. And I'm going to show you how we build pyramids this way. So, where quantum physicists are now are saying, wait a minute. I think we live in a simulation. So all them Neil deGrasse Tyson motherfuckers, they keep them masturbating. And all they keep saying is, we got a theory. Well, the theory of this, the theory of shit, that's obvious sometimes. Like, you ain't got to say that's a theory, you know that. They're at the theory that we live in a simulation. That's it. Basically, we live in Grand Theft Auto.